and he had a hangover.
Oh,
So yeah.
hangover sucks.
And you? How was your weekend?
Pretty cool. I had nowhere to go, so I was just pretty sleeping. I slept through the entire weekend.
Do you like sleeping?
I love sleeping. When I get a chance to, I definitely sleep. So what of you? Your weekend?
Good. Very, very good. I tried to install this Witcher 3 in the MacBook and works very well, really. So I play sometime.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You play games?
Yeah, sometimes. Not usually, but
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah, me too. I play games sometimes, and mostly I play Call of Duty.
Okay. I
So
very
I
like
have
this. Yeah, continue.
I have like my own personal PC, and it's a gaming PC. So and I
Mhm.
have this Discord group that I used to join on weekends. So just Call of
Ah.
Duty, they eventually beat me so much. So
Yeah,
I just won't give up easily.
okay. I installed Windows as the second partition in MacBook and hello. And
Hey,
to be
Lukash.
honest, works
Okay,
very well.
makes sense. Like you, what of so I think your MacBook is M1, right?
No, it's Intel from 2019. Yeah, it's the last
Oh,
MacBook with Intel. I don't remember if you can install the Windows with the M1 because
really?
you need, yeah, because the Apple create the tool for it. It's called the Bootcamp. It's installed in the MacBook by default, but I don't know if it's installed in the M1. And you only select the ISO image for
Yeah.
the Windows partition, and then your system installs, yeah, automatically. So
Oh,
yeah.
because I'm always worried about the graphics card because because I know Intel and maybe it uses Nvidia, but I have no idea what's MacBook like the M1, what kind of graphic
Mac
card it is.
MacBook has probably this AMD Radeon.
Radeon?
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
AMD.
You can check, yes, in your MacBook.
Yeah, I never a big fan of playing games with Mac. Hi, Lukash. I'm sorry.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, I forgot to plug in my mic. Anyway, hey, folks.
How you doing?
I'm doing morning.
Oh God. Hey Maya, how you doing? Hey, let's say Maya can't hear me. Jonas, what's up?
Dude, you're way too enthusiastic in the morning. You have way too much energy in the morning.
Definitely.
Oh.
Okay. Looks like everyone is awesome. So let's get right into it. We have a couple of things on the agenda, and yeah, so firstly, I started a community discussion. I was having a discussion with Alejandra privately, so I decided to like make the discussion publicly. And it seems I got a notification. Mashik, looks like you saw the discussion.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm gonna share link to discussion first.
Yeah, that
And
I added some suggestions. So.
yeah, makes sense. share the link. So we have, okay, I'm gonna share on YouTube also. I've forgotten. So we have this community section we are actively, working on, and we also have like a community docs. So we will. So I decided to like reuse the CKPI docs layout for the community docs also, and yeah. So there was some kind of confusion, and also from the perspective of the users. They would eventually think that is the main SNKPI docs. Just to avoid some kind of confusion and contradiction, so we decided to like look for other means, right? And we have two options, in my opinion, and it was either to have a content bucket in the docs/docs page, or use a different UI entirely for the community docs. And I think based on some research, I saw, oh, these are what other people are doing, right? So it is either they have a UI completely different from the /docs section for the community, or they just have a content bucket in the community, in the docs section, right? So then I decided to like make the discussion public to hear what others have to say or share their opinion on that. So that's the link to discussion. If you're interested, you can easily jump right into it. So secondly, it's about the mentorship program, right? So the folks are amazing so far. Like I'm super pumped about what they're doing. And yeah, I think, yeah, so we actually replaced I think just one person in the program based on not being active, to be honest. So eventually when this person when we actually replaced this person, then he reached out and said, hey, I'm back. I'm willing to start contributing to the project. But I was like, sorry, man, it's too late. I don't think because we've already notified this person we replaced you with, and it would sound somehow to just like take the person out and say, yo, the person is back, right? So I did my best. I tried to reach out to the person a couple of times before replacing him, but I didn't get any response. So we had no choice. But other than that, we have like the folks are actually working really hard on the project. And I think based on even the fact that some of them are in college, I think doing exam right now, and yeah, and DST, doing something, and eventually I think some of them are even rounding up their project, right? And also Google Summer of Code is back. So I would eventually, apply to like secure a spot for us in the Google Summer of Code next year. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we'd have, I'm being positive here, okay? So I'm pretty sure we're going to have two mentorship slots next year. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that also. So on the mentorship program, everything is going smoothly. Apart from the swags, they're really trying to like rip me off on the swags. So I'm really positive they're gonna get swags, right? I give them my words.
At some point of time.
Okay, cool. So that's it on the mentorship program. And yeah, so Mukesh has some agenda on the about the community meeting, rather. And the first agenda is actually the community manager. So up to you, man.
Boom. Where do I start? I'm gonna share my screen, okay?
Sure. Sorry, man.
Can you see my screen?
100%.
Is it big enough?
Yeah.
Awesome. So there are two topics. I want to just highlight something I highlighted during the conference, but I just want to highlight it on this meeting as well, so I can also share the recording with others. So there are two topics. And actually, maybe I'll start with the first one, with this one, not the other one. So this year I wanted to continue what I started already last year. So kind of discussion and a proposal of what we should do to build the community in the next year, basing on the experience from the current year. So yeah, that's what I did here, like open the proposal for 2023. So before I talk about the main topics to pick up for next year, let's just make it clear that we're not dropping the others. So we should definitely continue with Async API ambassador and growth of the number of ambassadors. We don't have yet a page for them. We know we have 3 ambassadors, but we also don't have yet an option to send swag for them. So that's not something we yet talk about out loud to the community, but that's something that should change in 2023. Mentorships, that's obvious. I think it's, at least for me, it's obvious. I hope for you as well, is that like it's it converts great for the community, and I think we're doing great thing in the open source world by helping new folks in the industry to get on open source projects. So we definitely have to continue the mentorships. And the conference, that's the most specific. Like I think we should never do online again, at least until next pandemia, maybe. But I'm like prove me wrong, but I'm super skeptical if it comes to having Async API conference only as a single event. I don't think specifications are sexy enough to attract people to come to the event. Just that is called Async API conference. Specification itself, it's super boring, and I would never go to such conference. But I would go to such conference if it would be mixed with other events. Or I would go to it if that would be just a small event somewhere close to my location, just one day event where I don't spend too much of my budget. So my proposal, if it comes to the conference, is that like, I'm not sure if you're familiar with some stuff I'm doing like unofficially for now, like this preaching about API Summit, like having a big conference for all the different API topics, not just specs, but also like gateways and like basically the API community under the Linux Foundation conference. But I'm also realistic, like to make it happen and to have people engaged from different communities like gRPC or Cloud Events or GraphQL, whatever, and also have Linux Foundation investing in it. It's a long way to go. I don't think it's doable for next year, because if it's online, if it's in person, then it's definitely I think we learned this year it's more difficult to organize, especially if you're organizing not in a country that you're from. And so my proposal for next year is that we do a set of micro conferences, like kind of meetups, half a day or full day in different locations, and we delegate the organization to different companies. So basically, let's say we have Solas in Canada, or we have Abli in London, or we have Postman that has a huge office in Bengaluru in India. So we can basically connect with these companies and offer that we can organize an event in their location. They sponsor everything, but in exchange, they have Async API event in their office. and we as a community, we make sure that there are speakers coming talking about async API. We could even do it in the way that half a day it's a workshop about async API, and the other half of the day it's a set of presentations. But basically it's the brand name is Async API Conf on a tour. So we're like rock stars showing up in different in different countries. But it's not like not sure if you noticed, like recently I see on Twitter people are making fun of bands that say they doing world tour, but the world tour is usually North America and few cities in Europe. But in this case, we would do something like a real tour and reach as many locations as possible, as long as we have sponsors that want to organize the event. So that's it if it comes to things that we should basically continue, that we know that especially these two from the past, we know that they bring people to the project and increase the size of the community by a lot. So we have to continue doing it. So before I go to the other topics, do you have any questions? Could you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. No topics about the Async API conference. Okay. So then the top new 3 topics. First of all, code of conduct. Something that I started thinking a lot since I went to the Open Source Summit in Dublin, and I attended one presentation about code of conduct. And the lawyer from Linux Foundation, she was, bringing some example issues from different communities, open source communities from the past, and like how that could be improved with code of conduct. So if you watched my presentation on Async API conference, I showed there some numbers, and the numbers like indicate that we started growing pretty fast, and I think we see it after looking at the notifications from GitHub or mailboxes. And the thing is that always with the larger group you get, the more diverse group you get, and we managed to do it in our project, to have a very diverse group of people. The problem is that at some point of time, I think it's natural that there might be conflicts between people. One, we can imagine, like we have TSC members that are from Russia and Ukraine, and at this point of time, nothing happens, and it's perfect because these are really good guys and keep politics away. But you can imagine a situation in the future where it's not so dope and people are not so kind, and there might be some conflicts on different topics on different sites, let's say. So it can be abusive, it can be politics driven, it can be like you can imagine whatever, I guess, that will bring in conflict into the project. And the thing is that at the moment we have a code of conduct where we just say that like people should contact Fran when something is wrong. But we also need to know how people work, especially if it comes to the situations where women are abused in the group. We need to make sure that there's more like at least bigger group that people can contact. And for example, if there's a situation that in the future we will have a need for some woman to contact someone to get help in the community, the best would be if that's also a woman on the other side that she can contact to feel safer, for example. So that's a pretty sensitive topic. And just to make it clear, I haven't seen any conflicts so far in the community, but I'm 100% sure that we're gonna get there, and we just need to be ready. And we need just to make sure that we have a code of conduct that is not just a copy of some other code of conduct, but it's something that we actually review. Maybe we set up a group of people that can moderate what happens in the community. I actually contacted after the presentation, I was talking to this lawyer from Linux Foundation, and she said like she's all ours if we want to consult with her, ask her for some best practices, etc. So I think that's one of the topics that we need to pick up for next year to have a solution. So I'm usually, for example, I'm Polish, and in Poland it's normal that we react. We don't prepare ourselves, we just react on situations. But in this case, I don't think we should. It's especially if it comes to people feelings, I don't think we should react on this situation. We should have a ready solution when something happens. Yeah. The other topic is the redistribution of funds with contributors. So basically, like we have sponsors. We also plan to have more sponsors next year. Even though it's super cool that we managed to set up a governance model where we have so many individual contributors, the thing is that individual contributors usually contribute after hours. And it would be nice to have a way how we can distribute the funds we get from the sponsors with the maintainers, and also with just the contributors. So not only the mentorship program where we can mentor new people, but it's also about the redistributing funds with senior people, with people that actually are experienced. They're not interested in taking part in mentorship programs, but they're interested in maintaining one of the Async API projects, but they have to do it after hours. So let's at least make sure that they're getting paid for it. So I think it's also something that we should already address in next year and explore possible solutions. I think there are some, even Open Collective itself is having some bounty program for contributors. Yeah, I guess that's it. Not sure if I should add something new. I guess it's pretty clear. So yeah, it's just about paying people for their work. And last but not least, something I kicked off this year, but I'd like that it's also one of the main themes for next year, and it's not just me doing this, but it's actually collective work, so we can scale it. So it's about case studies. So we have a lot of people joining the community, but we still continue having questions like how do you do Async API with this protocol or with this solution? And the thing is that we maintainers are not good in answering these questions because we're not using Async API in production. We're maintaining Async API. So so the best is if we gather that knowledge and we ask simply companies that already use Async API how they're using it with different protocols, with different scenarios, because it not only works as a perfect proof that Async API is used in production, but it's also a huge resource of knowledge for the community. And for me as a maintainer of the spec, it's also additionally super great resource to that I can use to help me whenever there's a pull request or proposal for some feature in Async API, because I can consult how others already use a given feature that will be affected by a given pull request. So that's something I think it's about time really to put more love in the topic of the case study. And just to back my why I want to push it, like we just have like there's just one PR for now, official PR from Adeo, and you can say like it's just one use case, but it's already like, so for example, for me it's already super useful because like through this one PR and one use case, we already have benefits for our work on 3.0, because it's in case of Adeo, the use case is showing also how they have to work around request reply pattern in a 2.0 version. So me as a maintainer, I can already pick up their example and try to rewrite it for 3.0 and see how request reply would look like for them once they migrate to 3.0. Also, from their use case, I see how they work with Maven plugins to generate in Java way documentation using our generator, which is Node.js project. So I can already like easily just link to their description how they use it. They even shared their Maven plugin configuration. So it's much easier to answer questions and help the community by just pointing to description how some company is doing stuff than answering with just theoretical knowledge. So even though I maybe did not convince you, you're gonna see that once we have like 10 or 20 use cases, you're gonna see that there's gonna be a lot of awesome knowledge in it. And that's it. 3 topics. Any questions so far?
So I have a question, right? And the question is basically concerning about Async API Conference 2023 on a tour, right? So you said something like, hosting these conferences in different locations with different organizers and stuff like that. And to be honest, I'm kind of confused, right? I'm like, okay, we have to host these conferences in different locations, right? How is that possible? Like, okay, is it just a day? Like we host this conference in a particular day, but in different locations, right? Then people attending the conference then choose where they want to be, right? Which one they want to go, or so how do we tell these people, right, about what is happening in this particular place? Because you said is it just related to Async API, or you wanted to like cover all aspect of specifications?
So it's so it's not one day, so it's on a tour, right? So it's like I said, like a rock star. So so you're going on different dates to different locations. So it's not that it's a distributed one-day event in different locations, somehow interconnected. No, it's just basically on given company and given location best practices. So when we will contact, for example, Postman and talk about maybe doing an event in Bengaluru, it's up to people from this company and from Bengaluru location to tell us what is the best day to do it and time to do it. And then we just agree on how much time we need to organize travels and get speakers to get there. Another example would be like let's say Solas, and they want to, I think they're in Ottawa, and let's say they want to also do this Async API conference in their office, sponsor it. Again, like we're gonna ask them like what they think is the best timing, when the best to organize it, and then using our communication channels and their communication channels, we're gonna ask people to propose if they want to do some presentations, and and come to the event. If it comes to the length of the event, again, like it's just a proposal for now, so everything is open for discussion, really. So, but yeah, I was thinking that it would be nice that if at least we might offer that like half a day can be really Async API workshop. So like a few hours of explaining what Async API is, writing Async API file with people at the workshop, generating code, like showing some use cases, and stuff like that. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go to Async API, you go to conference.asyncapi.com and you see this nice map of the world, and you see like locations where we plan to be and and some samples of the music.
Definitely the music.
Yeah. It sounds like it's much more complex than just one day event, than just one single event. But it's actually easier because we delegate the organization to the companies that want to sponsor the event. The most complex is to get funds and find the location, etc. But in many cases, these companies, they already have place to, at least like when I was working in the office, we had a location where we could have events inside the office, and many companies have it. And we can offer, like, if you're ready to cover these costs, and we could even require that if you organize this event, for example, we can have this requirement that you can organize the event, but you have to sponsor at least, I don't know, let's say one speaker. You sponsor their travel to the location, let's say, something like this. Yeah. Other questions? Okay. By the way, I have issues with catching my breath, but yeah. Let's continue.
You need to stop. You need to stop taking tracks.
No, I did not. Like I intentionally, I didn't take anything yesterday. But that's why maybe I'm. So the other topic, kind of related to this. So who's making sure that the work on code of conduct is happening, and who reports the status of the work? Who knows that somebody is taking care of this topic and coordinates it? Who knows what's the status of case study and who works on it? Etc. Like, who knows who's taking care of ambassador and who's checking the status, etc. and updating the community. And all of this is the community manager. So on like last 3 years, like actually February next year will be 3 years when I was like self-called community manager, community guardian, or whatever the names are for the project. And I think it's gonna be super healthy if I stop doing it and we simply get someone to do it for the community on board. There are two reasons why I think it's going to be healthy. First of all, it's I'm affiliated with Postman, so even though for people that are in the project last year, last 2 years, last 3 years, people know me, that I think people might guess that I'm pretty independent from my employer, and I don't make any decisions like only for that are super cool for Postman only. But that's something that people learn after being in the project for some time. But when people come to the project for the first time, it might feel weird that there's just this one guy from this single company, shaping the how the community grows and what direction. Because believe me, like I say, like even by setting the goals, like by setting the goals, it's already an influence on the directions of the community. Because I can imagine different goals can take this community in a totally different location. Let's say we don't do mentorships anymore, and then we, like, in next years we're gonna get totally different community. So so one reason is that I'm affiliated with Postman, and the second is that, like, after 3 years I already am biased really by with few things. I already have my opinion, like why I think something will not work, why we should not do it. I'm not even gonna mention again my hate for Twitter, but yeah, I'm also a fan of democracy and frequent changes in the power. So that's why I don't think it should be me again, and it should be someone. It should be someone, and I have no. I don't even think I have one preference, or maybe I have. So maybe I'll just skip to the proposed solutions. So there are two options I see. If there are others, then please comment in the discussion. But basically, we can my opinion is that it should be a rotating role. So we should not just hire another person for next 3 years, but we should make sure that every year we have someone new. In a way that, like, so for example, I set goals for next year as a community manager that was a community manager in 2022, and I set goals for 2023. Then with the community, we discuss these goals, and if there are doubts, we solve them and we adjust the goals, and then we have them like set for next year, like set in stone, let's say. And then we get a community manager that will make sure that all these things happen. And then throughout the year, this person is like making sure that all these things happen, looks at the numbers, listens to the community, and after 1 year, person already knows how these different topics work, what we should keep doing, and what's missing from the perspective of this person, like which topics were ignored by us and we should invest in them. And then this person is setting goals for 2024, right? And discussing with the community why we should do these and not something else. And then new community manager makes sure that these goals are realized next year, looks on things happening in the community, and then again, you know the drill. And the option is that this community manager is basically someone that is hired by the community. So I think we can easily have a dedicated open collective sub funding like we have for the conference. And in this sub funding, we can ask some sponsors to donate a dedicated budget to pay for the to the contractor, and we basically contract someone for 12 months for some given rate to do the job for the community. The other option is, which I think it's easier, is when we basically, like it was with me, I'm doing the work paid by Postman. So basically for next year, there's someone else joining for 1 year, and is being paid by, I don't know, Ably, IBM, whoever, some other company that is involved in Async API. So they basically delegate someone for 12 months to do the work for us. And by having this, like, first of all, we do everything in public, and by having this, that the person hired is actually doing what the community wants to do and community discussed with the previous community manager. So they actually execute the work set by the community, and then they discuss what can be improved in next years, but then somebody else is driving these topics. So this way, I think we're making sure that I don't think it's a big problem if we have a community manager, again, delegated from some company. I think it's pretty okay if it's person from IBM, let's say, because I don't think there's a place for any evil whatever evil actions from this person. So for me, the most important is actually to have someone for 1 year, rather than worry if it's someone who is paid by some company or who's paid by money from the Open Collective. And yeah, then I'm not going to talk about the job description. And I guess there could be a question like, so is community manager doing all the stuff from here? No. So just to make sure, like, community manager is making sure that all the channels that we have, communication channels, they're up and running, monitor stuff, reports if there's something wrong, and they basically coordinate all the actions. So for example, I'm volunteering to do case studies and like be the first contact point that makes sure that the stuff is happening. I know that Ace just wants to be a star in this topic. So there will be definitely people driving some of the topics, but there is an option that community manager can, of course, like, for example, take over this topic, or community manager can, if the community manager feels good in organizing events and talking to sponsors, like be my guest and run this topic as well, for example. So it's pretty flexible, but it's not expected that community manager is doing everything. It should be always a community effort. Okay, questions? I mean, now it's time for
so
questions.
I have a question. So the community manager, right? So are you saying like you're going to like make it clear before eventually hiring the person, right? So here's what happens. So this particular role we are hiring for is a temporary role, right? So we are going to like replace you after a year. How's that gonna work?
How you mean how it's gonna work that we replace you?
Yeah,
Like,
no, like in such a way whereby like the person you're hiring would like feel good or would be willing to like take up the role, or eventually it's gonna be someone within the community, like somebody from the community.
like like the rules would be explained from the very beginning, right? So it's even, let's say we go Open Collective way and we have someone in the community that wants to do the community work, and we hire them through the on a contract through Open Collective. Like, we clearly define it's a 12-month contract. That it's not going to, that should not be extended. And then, so I mean, but I think it's still, I mean, do you think it's bad? I think it's still pretty attractive that you have like, you have pretty nice stuff for your portfolio, that you were running the community for 1 year, like big open source community. But yeah. I mean, that's at least my opinion, that it should be just 1 year, because it's it's then it's just bringing fresh blood every year, with fresh view, which is, I think, the best for the community. And there's something which is, I didn't look on the whole comment from Ismael, but I think when I was skimming through the comment, yeah, I'm not gonna find the part, but well, I was just quickly, I'm not gonna explain when I was reading it, but when I was reading the comment, I one of the points that I liked from what Ismail wrote about actually having people from different companies that are delegated to do community management is that because we get people that we would get delegated in many cases who are or will already be people that are experienced and they already have their connection points, contact points. So like every year we would get people from really different communities with their different contact points that will spread the message about Async API. So that's additional benefit of actually not hiring through Open Collective, but actually having it open to any company that they delegate someone for 1 year. And they can also delegate someone that is not experienced, because like we're a pretty friendly community here, so we're gonna help anyway. I can also do mentorship on my own if it's at some point of time needed, and that's the only solution. So I can do the mentorship. I can mentor someone. Oh, that might be actually a third option. Like maybe mentorship, but 12 months long. I'm not sure if that's an option for someone, but I say part of Async API mentorship, maybe. Like
that's true. Like since we always wanted the mentorship program to be as diverse as possible, right? So maybe having a particular participant is willing to do community stuff.
Yeah. So
for 12 months.
It's long, but then it should be compensated more than just normal, of course, mentorship. But yeah. I think that's something that we will explore when we have no volunteers on other options. Maciej, do you have questions? I left you speechless.
So I just shared the link to this discussion on the chats and also on YouTube. So feel free to jump and share your opinion. Yes. So any questions so far? No. So last but not least, we also have a pending request also for the community section on the website. So I'm going to share a link. So if you're interested in helping review, you can kindly jump right into it and help with your reviews. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. So if you have anything to discuss, the mic is yours.
Actually, I'm curious about one thing. Jonas, you there?
Yep.
So I'm curious because my topic is the quality of the live stream, because when we when we talk now and we see Zoom, you all see tails, right? Like 5 tails. You see all the faces, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see all the tails in one screen.
Mm-hmm.
When you look on YouTube, you only see person that is speaking. And I'm pretty sure it's related to some setting, because in the past I was making sure that it's also tails on the YouTube, because it feels different when you watch it. It's pretty annoying when you see just one person emotions. And my question is to Jonas, like, did you change something on your side? Because I'm pretty sure that the live stream of 3.0 meeting is actually the same as on Zoom.
I don't recall ever changing anything though.
Because now I'm thinking if it's a meeting based setting, or if it's user profile based setting. Yeah, but now I'm checking like Spec 3.0 and I can see like, and it's like, oh my God, it's so much different when you're not sure if you watched the recordings a few times, but like, it's so much different when you see discussion and you see all the faces, and it's so much different when you just see one huge face. But okay, then that's, if that's not something you did intentionally, then we have to investigate how it's done then.
It's not something that can be, it's not something that's configured in the GitHub actions we run to set up the meetings.
Yeah, then it depends. So if it's on a setting level, on a meeting level, some setting, then yes, it would be a GitHub action that we have to improve. But it's weird because, you know, like your meeting is created the same way as this meeting, and so why this meeting is streamed as a single video and your is not? So maybe it's a profile setting, you know, like a user setting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the most likely scenario is that it's a setting that you might have changed for your account that makes it different, because I'm pretty sure I've never touched any of the settings from my perspective. So it might be your account that has a special setting. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, then yeah, I'll investigate then.
All right, Sherlock Holmes. You didn't see that coming, right? Yeah.
Oh,
So we like any other question, any other investigations? You know, we still have like 5 minutes.
So how was it? How hot is it now in Lagos?
Fair better, like better now. Unlike before. Jesus. Just have to like run out of the room and find somewhere cool to go.
But now how was it? Like, is it 20 something or 30 something?
No, it's a little bit cold right now. I think it rained a couple of days ago. Weird,
okay.
right?
Okay.
So
because here it's pretty cold.
Yeah, it's getting colder now. It's so funny because we have just 2 seasons.
In Poland, we would say, jak żyć? Jak żyć?
What's that mean?
How can you, I don't know, Maciej, how to translate it? Jak żyć? How to live would be direct translation, but it doesn't have the same sound as in Polish. Anyway.
Okay. So if you don't have any questions, then we'll eventually like go by our days. And yeah, you can. Okay, someone said on YouTube, hey, when will this open up for applicants, just curious? So I've been getting these questions lately, and yeah, this would be the right time to also like talk about it. So I've been, getting private DMs about people that are like willing to like participate in the next mentorship program, right? They've been asking me like which dates, when, and stuff like that. And I've just been encouraging them to like just contribute, start contributing, and when the date comes, I would eventually like let them know, right? But I don't have any date, so I don't know like when the specific date when the program will like kick off next year. So I've just been telling them to just keep contributing. I would let them know when this date is. And yeah, I think someone on YouTube already asked again, hey, when will this open up for applicants? Just curious.
It's your topic, your decision. I don't know, like I like that we did something different this year than Google Summer of Code. We didn't have such straight dates, etc. We let people start later if they were not available, so we just should stick to it but just propose something. Yeah, but I think that I think I saw some email from people because I'm still in some discussion group from Google's Summer of Code. And in this discussion group, I think that people were already sending feedbacks, and somebody said that like, no, it wasn't this. I think it's where I tagged you. I think I tagged you in this tweet.
On Twitter.
Yeah, and I think that for next year, they plan even to be more something, they want to do something that we already did, like be more relaxed on this.
Yeah.
On these dates, on these months where Google's Summer of Code happens. So we should just continue it even more what we did this year. So I don't think we should have a date. Maybe like, does it start in January or does it start in March? It's more about defining budget, defining way how we pick up topics, and if someone wants to start in January, why not? Maybe. I'm just throwing ideas, but yeah, I think that's the worst in this mentorships is when they're set on specific dates.
Maybe I feel maybe that's why Google Summer of Code decided to like change things up, because they want people to like feel comfortable and like easy to get started, right? If they have this specific date for doing stuff, then people would like have to like get focused, and people that couldn't actually meet up with a particular date will eventually like miss out. And I feel maybe that's the reason why Google Summer of Code decided to like go with that approach.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is also that they, for example, it's something that I learned this year. I had no idea that in India, for example, summer is in different months. I'm from Poland. For me, summer is always July and August. And I was always thinking like Google Summer of Code is never going to be popular in Poland because it's a summertime, and Polish students, they just fucking drink and travel, and they don't have time for doing some mentorships. So that's not inclusive enough then if you have some dates only, I guess. But yeah,
so makes sense, and fair enough, but they definitely would still have to like I think for the case of next year, right, in terms of mentorship, we still, unlike this particular time where the end date is kind of really flexible, right? Do you feel we should also like use that same approach next year, where the end date is also like as flexible as possible? And based, like when I'm saying end date now, I'm saying based on whatever the mentor decides, like for the mentee, right?
Yeah, so exactly what you said, like, so it's not like now that we said like end date for everyone is end of the year. It's more about what mentor and mentee agree. So if you start in, let's say, 1st of March and mentor and mentee agree, it's not complicated, it's not so complicated that you have to work on it, like let's say it differently. So it's the topic you're going to work on, it's not so complex, so you should it should be enough to work on it 2 months. So we set up deadline, like for you 1st of March, it's going to be 1st of May. That's how quick I'm with counting. 1st May, let's say. So that's how much we should go with the flexibility. That I think it's good that it's left to the mentee and the mentor of a given topic. But the best is that's actually the only good thing about what I bring from corporation and Agile and Scrum is the retrospective. Maybe try to get some retrospective, like I don't know, survey mentors and mentees from this year, what they liked, what they didn't like. As with regular retrospective, it works, and then propose something basing on the likes and dislikes. That's the best.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if this program eventually ends, like the current mentorship program, I feel the feedback, right? And I'm getting positive feedback so far. And I'm pretty sure like before the end of the program, I would eventually get more feedbacks that could help, enhance the upcoming mentorship program. So I should start a discussion around that also.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to wait until the end. You can already start, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question? No. Okay, so this would be the end of today's call. Thanks you guys for joining. I'm gonna update the GitHub issue for the notes for this meeting. So I'll share the link. So if you when I go through it later, it should be available. So we are past the end hour. So see you guys later. Thanks for joining the call. Bye guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye.